Yo, what up, folks? SK here, and we're gonna go straight into things you need to know when it comes to the Valencia patch upcoming on May 8th. Right is that we're supposed to get Khatum, and so I'll go straight into show you the general location of where the boss is using the map from somethinglovely.net. Now, somethinglovely.net is a very good map because it shows you, it's an interactive map for BDO that shows you where everything is, from the leveling areas to villas to scroll bosses to world bosses to wild horse areas, elephant areas, treasure chests, and everything else like that. So you can use this map to pretty much find everything in the game, and it's currently kept up to date as much as possible. So it's a very useful map for people that, you know, just want to find out information. So for the area of Khatum, Khatum is actually in the Scarlet Red Sand Chamber. You'll come over here to the map and you turn on world bosses, and it'll show the little Khatum icon here. To get to Khatum, you're just going to follow Pilafili Road until you get to this area right here. You're going to jump into the canyon and just follow the canyon all the way until you get to the Scarlet Sand Chamber. That's pretty much it for Khatum. Normally I just go on PC and record from PC the things that we don't have already, but people lose their minds about me using PC footage for Xbox stuff, so I guess I won't do that anymore. So with this new boss, we get the Khatum Offhand as well, which is going to be the offhand for whatever class that you're playing is. And the offhand actually gives attack and DP as well as a little bit of evasion, and it increases in attack as well as DP when you start to get past plus 10, and then evasion when you get past, I believe it's plus 15, it starts giving evasion. So it's pretty much the best offhand in the game, and up until this point, because no other offhand really matches it, Nuver, along with the new boss sub weapon, we'll be able to get a new way of getting memory fragments. And this time it's going to be a scroll written in an ancient language. It's going to be the same method as using your relic fragments or using the forbidden books. You put 5 into a shape, and then you press the button and you get the scroll to summon the boss. The boss, however, is going to be located right here next to Rock Post. The boss is called Pilafay. It's a Pilafay boss scroll. That's what it's going to be codenamed as when people start looking for parties to run it. So if you see people saying Pilafay, they're going to be running this boss scroll for memory fragments. One thing to remember is that these scrolls will give you a higher amount of memory fragments than all of the other scrolls. So if you get a bunch of these, you might want to run them and just sell everything else underneath, because they do give a higher amount. So now that we're done with the basics of this, we're going to talk about the desert itself. The desert itself is a very cruel mistress, to be honest. So one thing you're going to notice once you enter the actual desert from Sangream Bazaar, or from the end of the Gaha's Bandits lair, you can actually go out through over here. Once you get into the desert, your map goes away. You also have the chance to get hypothermia or heat stroke, depending on what time of day it is. So if it's nighttime, you're going to get hypothermia. If it's daytime, you're going to get heat stroke. What lowers the chance of this? There are food buffs that lower the chance of this by like 10 to 20%. The Desert Ghillie Suit also lowers the chance of this. I'm 100% sure we're going to get the Desert Ghillie Suit when this update does drop. And if it doesn't, then come find me and beat me up, I guess. I don't know. So you can get over heat stroke hypothermia by crafting Star Anise Tea or purified water. And the Star Anise Tea works in the nighttime to get rid of hypothermia, whereas the purified water works in the daytime to get rid of heat stroke. If you have enough HP, probably about 2,500 or higher, you should be able to just make it through the desert to wherever you're going. If you're going to a spot, if you're going to grind, you might want to bring these items with you so you can constantly keep healing yourself, because having these debuffs on you while you're fighting is kind of irritating sometimes. I can attest to that. The desert also is not kind to horses. If you're going to the desert with a horse, you will move at a reduced speed, and it'll take you a lot longer to get to wherever you want to go. And if you can't heal while you're on your horse, you're probably going to die. You probably actually are better off running through the desert on foot than moving on a horse. But at the stable right here in Sangream Bazaar, you can buy a camel, which camels apparently have regular move speed across the desert, and they gain their own skills as well as they level up, to where you can make them move faster than horses to cross the desert. Now, I'm not saying anything if you have like a T8 horse or something. If you have a T8 horse with, like, you know, all the movement speed stuff, you'll be able to cross the desert at probably regular speed. But a camel is probably going to be your best way to cross the desert at the moment, until we know what else they're putting in this patch. We're not sure if they're going to give us everything. I'll update you guys as I find out what they put in. So something you're probably been waiting for since the beginning of the video is, where we're going to be grinding. What are we going to be doing? Where are the best spots to grind? And For the new Xbox players, I want to say that this list is going to be very long because there are a few spots you can grind in Valencia. Some of the spots have high gear score requirements, some have low gear score requirements. Anything in the desert, of course, is going to have high gear score requirements, and anything outside is going to have medium to low gear score requirements. So we're going to start with the low areas. And these are probably the worst places to grind, to be honest, because they don't have a certain drop that you can, make a lot of money off of. As well as they don't have an accessory drop either, so you can't even make money off of that. They're just there for EXP. And that's going to be Waragon Nest and the Basham Based. These are actually the worst places to grind. I mean, they both have pretty good population, but nobody really wants to grind Waragons. And Bashams, like I said, it's just the fact of they have nothing there for you besides EXP. So moving on from that, one of the lesser grind locations is going to be right over here, the Kadri Ruins. So the Kadri Ruins, they actually have pretty decent. They have a pretty decent grind spot. The mobs here do have high HP. And some mobs here have high defense as well. So dealing with that area, you're gonna have to have a high AP. And just don't get hit in the back is my best advice for you in this spot. Just don't get hit in the back. Because there are big mobs here like there were in Media that have higher HP and higher attack and higher defense than other mobs. And if they hit you in the back, you will be hurt and stunned, and that just leads for you to die. So my advice for you there is just don't get in the back, to be honest. One of the other lesser grind spots will be Basilisk Den. Oh, and Kadri also drops the Kadri Ring, which is a defensive ring. So if you're going to be using like defensive style, if you're going to be doing a defensive play style where you're focused on damage reduction, that's where you're going to get those rings from. They also melt down, so you can go ahead and use them for that. The Basilisk Den is the other lesser grind spot, and this is where you're going to get your Basilisk Belt. Basilisk Belt is probably the next belt on the chain of where you're going to go up, unless you're using Tree Belt or the or Calx Belt, I believe it was. But we don't even have that yet, so Basilisk Belt is probably going to be your next best belt to use. And it's probably one of the, I say it's a lesser grind spot because the mobs here poison. And on top of that, they have high HP and high defense. They don't hit that hard. They just poison a lot, and the poison kind of annoys you after a while. It ticks down pretty quickly, so that's something to watch out for. The other lesser grind spot would be Centaurs, and Centaurs are right here, like right on your way to going to Sangrein Bazaar. This entire area is full of Centaurs. And they kind of go back into this area too. They're kind of all over here, but the main spot you would grind Centaurs is right here. They're like a giant freaking swarm of them in this area for some reason. But grinding Centaurs is pretty good. They dropped the Centaur belt as well, which is a defensive belt. And I think Centaur belt actually gives weight carry increase by like 80 LT. I'm not really sure. I haven't looked at the numbers in a while. So aside from that, now we get to go up to the most famous grind spots for this area. And these are spots that everybody is going to be at. I'm not even going to lie to you, everybody's going to be at these spots. And we're going to start with the Gahas Bandits nets. Gahas Bandits layer. Sorry. So the Gahas Bandits layer starts pretty much from right here at Shakatu. Once you leave Shakatu, you go around here, this corner. Mobs should start at this point. From this point, they go all the way through here, all the way around here, all in this general area, all back through here until you get to right here. And those are all bandits. So there's a lot of grind spots, there's a lot of rotations you can do in this area. And this area is usually highly contested because of the density and just the general ease of getting to it and getting back to town. So that's going to be one of the most popular areas to grind. From there, actually, let me go ahead and go to the next spot that's closest to it. Next spot that's closest to it is going to be Desert Naga Temple. This is a very famous spot because it's right next to Sangrein Bazaar. It's right there. Sangrein Bazaar also has a storage, so you're going to be able to use that to store your crap. But For Desert Dog Temple, you don't actually have to go completely into the desert. You do lose your map in certain areas, like over here. But over here, like in this area, you have your map, and it's just good density, good rotation. The mobs kind of melt really quickly if you have good enough AP and DP, and they don't hit too hard. So the next area would be the Crescent Shrine. And Crescent Shrine, this whole area right here is the grind spot for Crescent Shrine. Once again, good rotation, good density. They do have drops that that you're gonna be wanting to keep, like the Crescent Shrine rings, Crescent Shrine Guardian rings, I believe it's called. They're the next set of rings you're gonna be using after you get from the Shadow Knights rings. So, or your Asula rings, you're gonna move up from those rings to these rings, because these rings at Pride give at least, I think, 8 AP a piece, and they give some accuracy as well, I believe. The other famous spot to grind is Titian Valley, and these are going to be desert Foggans. So Nagas are over here, and Foggans are over here. This is one of the more green areas of the desert, and this area is highly populated with mobs as well. There's good density, a lot of rotations. It's just a lot of stuff over here, and it's a really good spot to grind because it's right next to a villa. So villas are something else I want to talk about, and I'll get to that in the next section. So we're going to cut this video short right here, and I'm going to go ahead and upload another video following up with the next grinding spots, the use of villas, the tents in the desert, as well as the use of the sanctums. So tune into the next video as well, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.